Hello everybody and welcome to your next C# XNA tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to be building our splash screen. Now I don't know if any of you guys watch my game development videos, but I tend to do a lot of splash screen stuff the same. I show the splash screen and fade it, show the splash elements, fade it out, show next one, fade it out, show next one, fade it out. I don't know how you want to do it, right? It's really up to you. And if this is not the way you want to do your splash screen, then comment below. Or actually, it would be better for you to post on my website in the community. Say that you want to modify it to do a different animation, and like if you wanted to do, then you can post on my website, post on a comment below, or any other type of animation you want, and I'll try and incorporate it in this tutorial. But in this I'm just gonna do a simple fading out splash screen animation, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. And yeah, so first of all we need some images. Okay, so I don't know if you guys want, you guys can, if you have a video or something you want to play during the splash screen or something, an intro video, then you could do that, you know what I mean? But for now I'm just doing images, right? I'm trying to keep it advanced but not like keep it kind of simple, because many people do not have like a intro video animation. Most people just have an image. So what we're gonna do, what we actually need to do is we need to get some images. Now if you need to pause to make some images or something, some default images, it's really up to you, but I have some images I always use in mine. So let's see what these are. So say XNA test and splash screen, and I have my 3 images. Okay, and okay, so we got our 3 images, and if we look at my images, they are, yeah, everything is good, right? But what we want to do for better organization, might as well do this now, is we want to have folders. Okay, so splash screen, and highlight all of them, sorry, and I'll put them in splash, in our splash screen. And okay, so we're gonna get back to our code now. So we got our images, and you can make the images your screen width or whatever, but these images, I think by default, I believe that they're 640 by, yeah, they're 640 by 480. Okay, but our screen width is 800 by 600. Okay, so we're gonna have to scale it if we wanna fit the screen. Now, for those of you who do not know how to find the scale value, it's pretty simple. Okay, all you want to do is if you take the calculator out, you find the width of the screen. Okay, so if we're trying to scale it to a certain screen width, you say the screen width divided by whatever the value of the image is. So I'll say 640. And that's equal to 125. So I know how to scale the width by 125, and if I wanted to scale it height wise, so I'd say 600 divided by 480, and scale value is 125. So all I have to do is change the scale to 125. Now I believe that the scale can also be a vector 2 property. So if you want to be able to have the freedom to change the scale by vector 2 property, like for the scale X and scale Y, then by all means change it. It's your game. You personalize it the way you want to. If it makes one way easier, then you can do that by all means. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to splashscreen.cs. Okay, so we got a few things set up. We got the default layout set up, so we're not gonna erase that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a fade animation, and we're going to call this actually we're gonna have a list of fade animation. We'll call it fade. We also need to have a list of textures, images, and if you want to play a sound during your image, while your image is playing, then you will have a list of audios, or sound effects, I mean, right? But I don't have any sound effects to play. I don't have any royalty free sound effects to play, so But if I get some, I'll definitely add it, incorporate it. I'll ask my brother, I'll ask him to make him some for me. uh, so we got our list like that. So now we have our file manager class, okay? And but one thing that I'm getting in a bad habit of doing now is I'm initializing them right away, okay? And we don't want to do that. We only want to initialize it whether we need it. So we know that every single time we run the game, we're gonna use the splash screen. But what we really want to do is that when we call the load content method, that's when we want to set it into a value. So if we have another screen and like say, look at, for example, if we have a new game screen or something, some players when they play for the first time, they'll click new game, but on the other times they'll click load game. Now if we set up all the initialized stuff in the new game screen but they never use it, then we just wasted some spaces in memory. So we only want to allocate it when we actually need it, and that's when we call the load content method, okay? So we're going to say that file manager is equal to new file manager, and we'll say that fade is equal to new list fade, and images to new. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna call file manager load. Okay, so load content. So the file name is going to be splash, and the extension can be anything you want it to be. I'm going to put CME for coding made easy. And for the attributes, we don't have any yet. So when we're loading something, most likely in every single game stream we're going to load something. So might as well add that to a protected property in gamescreen.cs. So do protected list, another list, and we have attributes, and we'll make another one, contents. And I believe, I don't even know if we could do this, but let's see if we could do this. Yeah, so we could do that as well, so we don't have to rewrite it. So we have our attributes and contents. So let's go back to SplashScreen.h. So we put in attributes and we put in contents in there. So what it's going to do is it's going to load all the files and store them in the attributes and contents. So this is where I talk about flexibility, how we can do whatever we want with it. Okay. So what we're most likely always going to do is we're going to make a for loop and a nested for loop. Okay. So we have two for loops, attributes I dot count, okay, and it should be j is less than. Okay, so normally we will have a switch. We'll take in our attributes I, j, and we'll check for something. So in this case, we don't have to have a default name for everything, right? For the splash screen class, we could have like an attribute could be s_image, and for the title screen class, we could attribute could be t_image. It's anything you want it to be, right? In this for loop right now, you declare how things, the name scheme goes and what happens in the naming scheme, right? And but you could, if you wanted in the file manager class, to have a default naming scheme and stuff like that. It's really up to you, but I believe this way is more flexible, right? So right now we'd have a switch statement, and I'll say case image, right? So if one of the attributes is equal to image, then I know for a fact that I want to load an image. So what I'm going to put is I'm going to say images dot add, say content dot load texture 2D, and we're going to add in the contents ij. So we know that if that corresponding attribute was an image, then we know that the content is going to be an image, and we're going to load that. And after that, we're going to say break. So right now, if you have sounds or something, you might want to might load in sound. So what you would do is you say like case, anything you want to name it sound, and you would say sound whatever, load whatever. Okay, so we got our images loaded, and for every single image that we load, we're going to want to add a fade animation. So we're going to say a new fade animation. And let me just check how much time I have. Okay, so it's 10 minutes, so I'm going to finish this off right now. So but at the end of our for loops, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to loop to our fade.count, so how much fade animations we have, and we're just going to say fade.load content, fade I.load content, and that'll be our content manager. Our image will be images I, our text is nothing, and our position will be vector 2.0. And then for our scale, we'll say I.scale is equal to 1.25. So therefore it will be stretched to fit the screen. So I will end it right here, and we'll quickly finish out the splash screen in the next tutorial. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching, and bye.